This is Jakk and
MT.
And we are Frankly Speaking. Welcome back to another episode of Frankly Speaking. I'm Jakk.
This is MT.
And we here this week. How you feeling? I know you say you back in the gym again.
I'm back in the gym. This is week number 2. I'm back in there flexing.
Say he's back. Back again.
I'm back.
MT back.
Working on my abs.
Tell a
again.
friend.
Working on my guns again.
No, not the guns.
Getting my pectorals rehabilitated and reconstituted. I feel pretty good.
I'm glad you feel good. I don't know who you getting all descriptive for, but
I never got my summer body, so I'm kind of delayed reacting them.
It's okay. You working on your summer body for next year.
For next
2025.
year.
We all understand.
I got the jump.
Well, that's good, man. Other than that, how you feeling?
I'm great. Yourself?
No, I'm blessed.
I see you recovering, and I'm wishing you all the best.
I appreciate it.
And
sure.
I hope that your Bears do as well as you do. That's all I'm saying.
Can't even get in the show. It's all good though. Before we get into that, how them picks look from last week? How you do?
I don't think I did too well because I was really getting. I mean, I thought Cincy would at least beat.
It's crazy because I told you how that game was going to end. And not only did I tell you how that game was going to end, I told you were the reason why I was picking the Washington Commanders to win that game.
I just thought Joe Burrow would come out of the funk he was in, and I had no idea because I was trying to watch the game. I couldn't even watch the game because I haven't seen that much ineptitude in the pro level and since watching the Lions 2016 season. And I was like, holy crud, what are we watching here?
I didn't even have to bring it up.
In your words, a dumpster fire. And I was like, oh my God, this is hard to watch. Hard to watch.
Yeah, they love putting those games on prime time.
Prime time.
I do understand. Did you hear the report where they were talking about wanting to ban the too high safety defense? It's not like the rules for the last 20 years have been to cater to offenses. So you take that out of it, but offensive, like passing scoring is down this year, and it's trending downward. So it's kind of like they're trying to figure out a way to re-excite the passing game. You know what I mean?
Because you can't breathe on a receiver downfield without getting. I'm like, dude, this is football. It's a contact sport. I watch receivers initiate contact and get flags thrown. I'm like, this is almost like watching pro wrestling or something like that, where the referees are just oblivious to whatever's going on, and then they at the last minute see the crowd going, oh, throw a flag.
So I agree partially and then disagree as well. I agree partially because the physicality of football is kind of what made everybody fall in love with the sport.
That was the lure.
However, like thinking about the product on the field, you know what I mean? Like these guys want to protect themselves, and a way that we can help do that is to kind of eliminate some of the physicality. So because I like the big hits, but I think the defenseless receiver was a good rule that was added. You know what I mean? Like, you think 20, 25 years ago trying to run across the middle as a receiver, and it's like, it was
suicide.
It was the quarterback's responsibility to be able to, still to this day, to be able to throw you into a good position, to be able to catch the ball and run in stride and not get torn up or not get hit by somebody you don't see coming. Get your clock clean.
I always admired Tom Brady for that. He would put you in a spot where you can at least catch it and brace, not just catch it and then take a step and get shellacked.
Or the position that they put the football. Instead of throwing it high, you throw it low where you already kind of going down in a sense. So quarterbacks who do have that savvy, because Aaron Rodgers is another one.
Peyton Manning had that.
He's another one. Even though early in his career he kind of used to get his receivers killed. But, everybody did. It's something that you learn, with repetition through the years. Like, when you first come in, you're still learning how to read the defenses and picking up on different blitz packages and learning how to properly set your own protections and all of this thing, getting the cadences right, trying to figure out how to get free plays and if you can manipulate the cadence to your event. Like a lot of that stuff is, the earlier part. So once you understand that concept of the game and it kind of clicks, then you're able to add those other wrinkles on top of your game where it's like, okay, now you really put it all together. Some quarterbacks never actually get to that, because some quarterbacks pop early and then it kind of just like goes off a cliff.
I thought Brett Favre never got to that.
Oh, you really?
He never got to that. Brett Favre hung his receivers out to dry often.
Oh, yeah, well,
often.
Brett Favre played the game with a sense of reckless abandon that
like a
can be appreciated. I mean, because he was so talented, like the arm angles he was able to fit, certain balls in the windows was just amazing. Now, did it always work? No, he threw a lot of interceptions. But having the thought process to be able to say, like, hey, if I throw this ball at this angle, at this velocity, I have the arm strength to fit that in there, but I got to do it with this time. So, I don't know. I'm impartial because I like Brett Favre.
You know what I don't appreciate about Brett Favre? Him stealing from poor Mississippians.
Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That was kind of messed up, Brett.
And then coming in, oh, by the way, I got Parkinson's. And still a thief.
I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about that situation. I just know his daughter was playing volleyball there, and they built a whole nother facility for them to play volleyball.
Using welfare funds. I mean, come on now.
Hey, man. It be like that sometimes.
Speaking of just offensive
prowess
and them having an advantage, what did y'all think about McBride and that branch injury? I know we kind of touched on it, and them just colliding and that not being a flag. Because that was crazy to me, because if it's on defense, that's 15.
That's 15. I mean, I know we want to protect the offensive players, but they have a responsibility also to not only protect themselves, but to consider the advantage that they have. Because, to me, that's why I didn't like Shaq later in his career, because they allowed him such latitude with the elbows and the shoulders. And I'm like, you can't be crying I'm getting hacked if you're coming in like a bull in a china cabinet. Because you're initiating contact, and then when you get it back, they hit me more than anybody in the league.
So I'm not going to let you pull me in with this wacko Shaq take. I'm not going to let you do it with the Shaq attack.
Well, see, Shaq didn't do that early in his career.
See, I'm not going to let you do it.
When he got 330 pounds, he started, you know what?
We're going to stick to the task at hand.
The task at hand is that, I mean, I'll give you an example of the quarterback who also laid out his receivers, and he had an incredible arm, John Elway. He had accuracy and he had strength, cannon. And but he did only have mediocre receivers at best, though, because he had a ridiculous running game.
Definitely had ED, but or not ED, TD. He also had Shannon Sharp.
He did.
I mean, he had prime Uncle Shay Shay. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But to go back to your question, I looked at it like it was kind of like a bang bang play. Like it's one of those plays that is kind of hard to judge in the moment because of how it happened.
Even after replay?
But it's one of those things where after the replay, you kind of got to roll with the call on the field. I've seen a bunch of times stuff happens on the field, don't get called, and then we see it on the replay, and it's just like, oh yeah, we clearly see. Like we saw that in the Houston Chicago game when dude went out of bounds and then got up and sucker punched the player that wasn't even in the game, mind you. And it's just like, okay, everybody in America that's watching the game right now saw that happen. They didn't throw a flag, nothing happened, and it's like, okay, after the game they fined him like $10,000. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. But it's things that happen that, you know, the game is evolving.
It's evolving.
I mean, because or as you like to say, devolving. Because 10 years ago, now I agree to it within a certain degree, right? because 10 years ago, you see it happen on the field, they call a flag. You know what I mean? And now it's just like New York is so involved with everything. The rules are changing every year. Every offseason, they have a league-wide vote on what, rules to change, what gets implemented, what's getting taken away, and you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to do this heavy emphasis on like the drop tackle, the hip drop tackle. And it's like, well, dang, it's only so many ways I can bring you down. Like, I can't use your body weight or my body weight. Like, what am I supposed to do?
See, my thing is, but my only issue is this: if a defender can't lead with his helmet, then neither can an offensive player. That's my whole thing.
I agree.
I mean, you should be able. If you're an because I remember Jeremy Shockey, he led with his shoulder, not his helmet, and he would be out there looking like, "Who's the poor sucker going to tackle me now?" And they're like, bring it on. And then he would just be almost like headhunting, and safeties are like, oh, here comes Jeremy Shockey. He ain't trying to get yards, he's just trying to punish me now. And I'm thinking to myself, I respected the fact that he led with his shoulder, though.
Another person that used to do that was Mike Allsop.
Exactly. You lead with your shoulder, not with your head. I see these guys nowadays, like, you got a built-in advantage, and you lead with your head, and then when you get helmet to helmet, oh, what a dirty play. Both their heads were down. So this is about perspective and your opinion of this person who did this. If somebody that has a rep of hitting real low and everything.
Being considered like a dirty player.
Yeah, you don't give them the benefit of the doubt that this offensive player also lowered his head. So I'm like, it kind of takes two to tango. He had his head down low, but so did the offensive player. That's how he got his head involved in the first place. But so I always thought that the league was always kind of tainted and slanted toward the offense. And let's be honest, it's defense that makes the game. Those hits you were talking about. And everybody wants to see, ooh, yeah, a nice pretty pass caught in stride is nice to behold.
Yeah, but what people started to notice is that stuff was getting the talent taken off of the field. You know what I mean? It started with and Aaron Rodgers got his collarbone broken 2 years in a row, and it's like, okay, well, Green Bay was touted as one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl that year, and it was one of Aaron Rodgers coming off an MVP or something like that, and it's just like, okay, in week 3, he's just gone.
Well, you know what I mean? Go back to Terrell Owens with the horse collar stuff, though. And it had been happening before that, but because Terrell Owens is a marquee player, and this puts him out of the game now, we got to revisit that. That's unfair. I'm like, dude, that's been a part of the game as long as I can remember. Anything you can grab hold of somebody, you grab hold to.
Yeah, and again, well, for one, the league was as popular, but it wasn't generating as much money.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Once the NFL went from $1 million industry to $1 billion industry, emphasis got put on entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the first time I've mentioned this on this podcast, where the NFL is registered the same way the WWE is. You know what I mean? So it's registered as an entertainment company.
Yeah.
They do that for insurance purposes, because it's a violent contact sport and all of these things, like the UFC and all of that. So, and with the money that's being generated, so with the league has a commissioner, but essentially the owners run the league. So they're trying to figure out the best ways they can keep their product on the field.
Take the investment.
You know what I'm saying?
And I get that.
So that's why every year when we're voting on the league rules, it's the owners that have the say. You know what I mean? Like, so I just think
I guess the thing that makes this whole situation more poignant than it normally would be is because the athletes have evolved physically to be so much stronger and faster. So a hit that you took in the 80s, while it might have been a rim-wrecking hit, the guys weren't going quite as fast, and they weren't quite as big, and they weren't as strong as these guys are. So everybody knows about the laws of inertia and everything, right? So that law is doubly increased now because of the mass of the parties involved now. So I understand.
I will give faster. I don't think they're necessarily stronger. You're not coming across Mean Joe Greens, or you're not coming across people with the strength of like a Larry Thomas, or you know what I'm saying. You're not coming across guys who can move mountains, like especially in the trenches. From the offensive line standpoint, it's more about agility
and leverage.
We want to be able to send you out, being able to pull on different blocking schemes and try to set different things up. So we need you to be more agile, still be able to anchor, and be able to have that base where you can drive for like run plays. But we need you to it's only so many Trent Williams.
That's true.
You only have one Trent. Like they made it to where he can't even pull no more because you come. How would you feel coming across the field and see big old 7'99", 485-pound Trent Williams coming at you full fledged like a bull in a china shop? I would curl up like oh no, man, I'm not. You know what I mean? So you're not coming across that many linemen that have this just brute strength of like a Lawrence Taylor or you know what I mean, Reggie White. Like I'm saying,
I do understand.
How many refrigerator Perrys do you see in the league? Like you don't even have to go that far back. How many Vince Wilforks do you see now?
Not many.
You don't see that many. Like even the 300-pound guys are not high body fat percentage and really high muscular mass. So like the game is evolving in so many different ways.
That's true.
But again, you want to make sure if you want to have success, like if you own the football team, like you're looking at it from a fan perspective instead of a business perspective, right? Because if you own the Detroit Lions, you wouldn't be calling for brutal mass hits. Now you might like it, like the grit and like the play hard and the physicality, but let Amon-Ra St. Brown take one of those hits, come across the middle, and see if you don't be pissed somewhere in the skybox somewhere.
I'm sure.
You know what I mean? Like, well, what are you doing? Call a flag. Like, so.
But see, I would be thinking that I'm pissed at my coaches for calling a play with that potential in the first place, though. Like, why are you sending him across the middle like that? You know what happens in the middle? No. If you're going to send him on a short route, send him on a little wheel route somewhere where he's not, between the hash marks or whatever.
But again, you're looking at football like it's the 80s.
Exactly.
You don't have no more Ray Lewises.
No, you don't.
Now you got a Roquan Smith and a Fred Warner, but you don't even have like prime Bobby Wagners anymore. You know what I mean? Where you just got guys that just, you come across this middle, I'm gonna take your head clean off. You know what I mean? Like it just, you don't see too many linebackers. Like I know you saw the Chad Johnson clip where he tried to block him in the end zone and end up knocking himself over, and then Ray just looks like, oh man, what you doing? Like, who threw this paper ball at me? You don't see too many players with that level of physicality.
No, you don't.
But you also, we need to get back to the fundamentals of the game being taught properly.
I can't say that. I can't underscore that enough because that's what makes the game so fun to watch.
But the difficult thing about it is, how do you teach fundamentals to like the youth now when things are ever so changing? How am I supposed to teach somebody how to properly tackle when today this might be a legal tackle, but tomorrow is not? So you're getting professionals that are relearning how to fundamentally do things every year.
I get that. But I'll say this. I think it has to be started at the Pop Warner level, though. It has to be. Even if it's evolving, you still got to have basic tackle principles. Now, I think with the video game atmosphere the way it is, and these little guys seeing, because I've seen that was that Friday Night Tykes, is that what that was called? Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing these little guys just unloading. I'm like, how does a 9 and 10-year-old know to hit like that already? We were just tackling back in those. We weren't hitting like that. And guys are getting up, oh man, brush it off, you're gonna be all right.
Well, you know what it is? I mean, because I remember playing Pop Warner and doing that. But once you get that crowd reaction for the first time, it becomes addictive. Every time you hit somebody, you want that crowd that ooh.
And that's why
You know what I mean?
stopped playing football at 11 years old, because I couldn't cuss myself, and everybody was ooh, oh man, good hit, and I was like,
that pride was hurt, boy.
Good hit.
But that's why they tell you, man, football is one of them sports that'll humble you. you go into it with a big head if you want to.
It humbled me because, I mean, my pride was deeply bruised when they set me up on the first place on the sweep around the corner, and they got, oh, man, he burned you. I was like, and they come back the next possession with the exact same play. Like, dude, I saw that before.
So
I slid down the line with him, and he got it, and I unloaded. And, ooh, oh, good hit, man.
it's crazy.
Was it?
It's crazy because, like,
This is crazy.
like, it show you what you made of deep down. Because, like, how do you respond from
They
that?
showed me to be a hooper. Because I was like, man, this
He
is...
like, I'm taking these shoulder pads. Oh, y'all can have this back.
What it made me think about was...
I don't need this helmet.
How
These
much I really
cleats
like
too?
football.
Nah.
I mean, I like playing football. It was cool. But that made me rethink. Because I remember sitting down on that ground after that happened, and the ground is doing like this. And the little white things were all
You had
washed
the
in
little
front of
floaties?
me. Yeah, and I was like,
Did you have a person come over and do the concuss test?
nah, man. They
How many
dude
fingers
grabbed
am
me
I
up under
holding
my armpits and stood me up. Good hit, little man. Ooh, he's patting me on my head and everything.
See, y'all-
making it worse. And I was like, this is crazy.
Y'all, that was that one era where if you injured, they'd be like, "No, man, you ain't injured. You just soft." It's like, hey, wait a minute. I don't know about all that, bro. I'm seeing 3 of you right now.
Man, my mans and me took off 2 plays. And after we got jeered enough, we went back in again. And I was like, I'm tackling you next time like a cotton ball, bro. I'm wrestling you to the... I ain't no more to hitting like that. And after that day, no more football.
Man, but the crazy thing, right? I remember my first game that I played on varsity, right? Now, I played linebacker. They decided they were going to have me play like outside, but play like an edge rusher. Like, so my first game, I remember we played Powers. It was like week 2. And they had me playing against the left tackle that had committed to Tennessee. Dude is like 6'9", like 400 pounds. I'm not exaggerating. He was the tallest dude on the field. So I had to try to figure out how I'm going to get around him. I'm like, okay, I'm smaller than him. I'm going to use my speed. Dude has some of the cleanest footwork. So I'm like, okay, mama said the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Dog picked me up and carried me like 10 yards up the field. And I'm just like, man, I don't know what to do.
Speaking of which, did you see that David Montgomery play?
I'm glad you actually mentioned that play.
That was ridiculous.
Because
they literally picked him off the ground and carried him. I was like,
literally.
What in the...
And it's a play that I sent Mike to add to, the animations and stuff, insert here, where all of our linemen are on the ground on a 4th and 1 play. And you just look, and everybody is making a different pose. I'm just falling. Like, how do you get 4 offensive linemen on the ground on a run play on 4th and goal? Like 4th and goal at the 1 yard line. Like, we had like 3 plays at the 1 yard line and couldn't figure it out. And then the fourth down play, they decide speed option. The running back gets the ball at the 8 yard line. The play started at the 1. Like, what are we? So that is where coaching is so critical. The play where they decided to pick David Montgomery up and just carry him into the end zone reminds me of the fact that the referees probably make parlay bets too.
Something,
because I don't understand. There was several plays that happened like that in that Colts game too. That is like, okay, you stop this for no forward progress.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
When it's us running the ball, but Jonathan Taylor gets the ball, and it's just like, Oh, no. Touchdown. Like, well, wait a minute. Why we only get 5 seconds and they get 13 to try to get it in before you blow the whistle? Like, you know what? How much you got on this game? That's what I really want to know. Because what's really going on? Like, what's really going on? I don't know.
I got 2 words for you, and I think they transcend all sports. Tim Donaghy. I mean,
you know, you know.
We make fun of him in the NBA. I said, if you think that ain't happening in other sports,
yeah. If you know, you know. We
come on now.
So I guess we've been chatting enough. I guess we can actually get into
go through the picks. I know
what happened.
I took a crap on again this week.
We'll do that, and then we can go through a thorough analysis of what we saw for this weekend through our games and stuff.
Hello, gentlemen. How you doing?
Good. I'm good. Welcome on, brother. Welcome on.
Mysterious voice from above talking to y'all.
Yeah, you becoming more of a cameo character. You're gonna have to start jumping in the intro.
So week 3, we got MT going 6-10 and Jakk going 7-9.
Yeah, it wasn't too hot.
And overall, y'all want to know the overall or?
Sure.
It can't be too flattering.
We got Jakk at 28-20, and we got MT at 24-24.
Ooh, it's close.
500. So I feel
so a lot closer than last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of
like rough. After week 3 last year.
It was You
were like 8-9 games behind, and we were just. It was like. It was a miracle at that point.
It could still happen.
I'll tell you what.
It only take 1 week.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
only
still
take
happen.
1 week.
It's looking to me like the NFL is getting so hard to predict. It's like there ain't no sure thing.
No, see, as we get through the first quarter, the teams will start to establish themselves a little bit where you could actually see who's playing good, who's playing solid. You can start to distinguish they're a real they could be a real contender versus
Yeah, but I mean the injuries.
The injuries are something that is a part of the game.
Yeah, but when I looked at the Niners, I'm like,
but that's all
serious?
That's also something that we're trying. Like, it goes back to our previous conversation, keeping the product on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it more enjoyable for the fan experience.
It does.
Like, I'm just saying.
I mean, with no asses in the seat, you don't have a product. And if you got, when I looked at that lineup, I was like, ooh, I think I should have picked the Rams. Oh, another one? Oh, my God.
Yeah, that team is decimated. But you got to think the Rams are, too.
Yes, they were.
The Rams are really injured, so...
That's what I was kind of going to say. I guess it's all about perspective because from a Niners point of view, you're pissed off.
That's the
But
coaching.
from a Rams point of view, you're like, oh, we got a dub with injured players, without our,
But that's the difference in coaching.
Mm-hmm.
That is the difference in coaching. The reason that Shanahan can't get over the hump, even though he keeps getting there, is he gets there and gets outcoached. He's gotten to the Super Bowl twice. And each time he's gotten to face Andy Reid, and Andy Reid from a mastermind, Andy Reid is such a mastermind when it comes to the coaching, especially on offensive, like scheming wise. He already has plays drawn up for the Super Bowl that you won't see until the Super Bowl. It's week 4. So he knows certain things that when the times get critical, what decisions to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about, like, if you want to go to, like, this Chicago Bears and the Lions game, right? These mental errors that the coaches make.
Mm-hmm.
Because now Eberflus is starting to make some of these mental errors that I complain about when I watch Dan Campbell. Like, even with all this success,
mm-hmm.
it's like those those critical errors in critical times could come back to bite you in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do, it could cost you a chance to go to the Super Bowl or, a deep playoff run, because it's not always the chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the chance to get the chance to go to the, you know what I mean? Like, so I look over at Green Bay, and I look over in Minnesota, and it's like both of their quarterbacks go down. Now, even though we don't know if JJ would have been the starter, but Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold is like the number one quarterback in the league right now. He's leading in passing yards and passing touchdowns. It's like, crazy. Then Malik Willis looked like he would be working at Costco after this year in Tennessee. Jordan Love goes down, and the man actually looks like he knows how to play quarterback. But that's the difference in the scheme. I'll give you another example. Justin Fields is 3-0.
Yes.
Justin Fields is 3-0 over in Pittsburgh.
And all I've been hearing is that maybe Chicago should have rethought
Stop.
that.
Oh, my God. Don't. First and foremost.
I'm not saying that. I've been hearing that on radio stations.
Yeah, I get it. And let me say something, right? If he was going to play like that, why didn't he? What you're not taking into consideration is Mike Tomlin being one of the greatest coaches ever, and having a coach that actually knows how to win.
I take that all into consideration.
So they're not going out and asking. They're not even asking Justin Fields what we're asking Caleb Williams to do right now.
They're asking him to manage the game.
That's it. Manage the game. Don't turn the ball over. Let our defense take over. That's it.
I heard a stat, too, that they hadn't scored like more than 3 touchdowns and something like that.
No, and they all came in one game.
Yeah, something like that. So
it's not like
he's blowing it up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like
exactly. But how many 360-yard games do you remember Justin Fields throwing for the Chicago Bears? Because I watched every single last one, and I can't think of one. So stop it with that, and stop it with this whole we should have drafted Jaden Daniels at 1. It's like, just hold your horses. Because to anoint Jaden Daniels after essentially having one good game against potentially 2 of the worst defenses in all of the NFL, you got to think about something, because I'm a context person. When you talk about the first time since 1940 that you had a game featuring 2 teams that didn't have a punt or didn't have a turnover, the first time since 1940, that means it's the first time since they started keeping stats.
The first time since leather helmets.
My grandfather, who just passed away, rest in peace, Grandpa, but my grandfather was 1.
Wow.
He was born in 1939. You know what that means? His whole life, he never saw that happen.
I do get that.
So to anoint Jaden Daniels like he's the top 5 quarterback, just he's the next C.J. Stroud, and Caleb is going to be the Bryce Young. Like, stop it. Just hold on.
Here's my thing.
Hold on.
Those are not my words.
I understand, and I know you didn't bring it up. I brought it up because this is what I've been seeing. Just like you, the same stuff you've been seeing. I see it even worse because I follow all the Bears pages, and I've never seen a fan base so split about a quarterback decision, because now all of the Justin Fields lovers that were, no, keep Fields, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and just build blah, 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 blah. Now they're all coming back and just being like, see, I told you so, we should. Then all the people who didn't want us to draft Caleb, you should go draft Jaden Daniels. And I like Jaden Daniels. He's small. He's a smaller Justin Fields. Now, they literally have the same stats. Mediocre accuracy when it's the short and intermediate throws, really great deep ball accuracy, and can run. The difference is Jaden Daniels is a foot shorter and about 40 pounds lighter. If we had drafted him at 1 with the offensive line that we have, after Caleb taking 13 sacks, he'd be J.J. McCarthy sitting on the sideline with a boot.
And that's
sparkly diamonds,
because he likes running the ball around. Like he
does. He does. He sets up everything. But also, Caleb is actually, the learning curve is different because he's now learning like the pro style offense. Jaden is getting a college coordinator to essentially implement his LSU offense, the LSU scheme. So he's getting to play with stuff that looks familiar, the verbiage, the cadences, the route patterns, the entire scheme is pretty much piggybacking off of what he experienced.
But as an organization and as a coach, does that not make sense?
I mean, it does. However, saying if we had drafted him, we would be in a better position today. Like, again, like I just came in last week and said, I see linear progression.
Mm-hmm.
From week 1 throwing 94 yards to week 2 throwing 190 to week 3 throwing 360. It's like, okay, yeah, I think we're good at quarterback. Now, I don't think we have the right coaching staff. And
I look at it and I said to myself,
I'm so annoyed.
I said, I'd be damned if he doesn't look like he's in the same situation the Lions were in.
If we don't turn this around relatively quick, we're going to do the same thing we've done with every other quarterback and expect this to be different.
We have to clean that house.
We're gonna fire the coach, and we're gonna bring in a whole new system. We're gonna bring in a whole new coaching staff, and his second year, instead of building continuity and building off of what he's already established, he's going to be learning a new system, learning new verbiage, learning new cadences. And then the problem when you get a new coaching staff to come in, they want to bring in their guys. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean like the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. I mean players that they've played with.
Mm-hmm. Now, doesn't that sound like, to bring up a psychological term, insanity?
You notice what I started the segment off by saying, I'm so disappointed because if we don't figure this, if we don't right this ship, and I'm not hitting the panic button just yet, but my finger is definitely hovering around that little red button. It is definitely hovering around that little red button because we passed the ball 54 times and called 60 pass plays against the worst rushing defense in the league.
All I'm going to say is I think it was you who touted your coaching staff last season, not me. So I'm thinking,
No, that's a lie because I said we should have fired him. Now, when I realized we weren't, I mean, because it's on record, it's on tape. We can find it somewhere and bring it up. I wanted Jim Harbaugh. That was the only reason I wanted Michigan to win that championship last year, because I'm like, Jim Harbaugh will feel like he accomplished everything he needed with all the heat coming down. He's going to come back to the NFL. And why don't you come on home? You play a quarterback for us. Like, just come on home. Just come on across the pond. It's a 4-hour drive. Like, it's I was hoping, and then we decided not to fire our head. Like, in a coaching carousel where you have Bill Belichick, you have Jim Harbaugh, you have pretty much the pick of the litter at any premier coach, because you had the coach from the Tennessee Titans got fired, Mike Vrabel. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm impartial because I don't want to bring in another defensive guy. We have the quarterback. Like, bring in the offensive guy. Because what happens, even if if you have a defensive head coach, if you have a successful offense and it's, part to the offensive coordinator, then the offensive coordinator gets sniped and goes and becomes a head coach somewhere. Then you have to bring in another offensive coordinator. Now the offense don't look the same.
Well, I'll say this. The word around the league, and I've seen it on several blogs, is that nobody wants to play for Bill Belichick. That's what I've heard. They said he dangled his bait out to several teams, and no player wants to play for Bill Belichick. And I thought that was his style is antiquated.
Who'd you hear that from?
It's all over the blog. And the thing that got me was that he had success in New England. Often people would say he cheated, but I mean that's neither here nor there. But his style of coaching is supposed to be
archaic. I get it.
Something that's equated to if you remember Doug Collins. As good a coach as he was X's and O's, he was terrible at managing personalities. He ran Allen Houston from Detroit.
Hey, man, I wouldn't say that Bill Belichick can't handle personalities because he coached Aaron Hernandez for a few years. I'm just saying.
Can I get some rapid-fire questions real quick just to pick y'all brains?
Yeah,
sure.
Please do.
Is this year's football better than last year's?
It's too early to tell. We ain't even
in
a
week
quarter.
week 3 of football compared to last year's week 3 of football.
I'm going to say yes. I think it's better. It's more entertaining.
I would say from a storyline basis, yeah. But as far as like what's actually going on, like no, like with Justin Fields being one of the undefeated quarterbacks in the league right now. Who would have thought Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, and what's my man name down in New Orleans? Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, yeah.
Yeah, who would think they'd be leading the NFL and QBR and all the stat? Like, no, no. For a storyline purpose, yeah, I'll agree.
And look at Geno Smith. That's a storyline. Talking about rising from the ashes of a phoenix. Like, good grief. I
think that's also something that's a product of when you don't give up on a player too early and kind of let them develop into ultimately who they're going to be instead of forcing them into the expectations. You know what I mean? Because him getting drafted in New York just kind of got fed to the wolves and got ate alive pretty quick.
They say that New York in general is one of the most brutal places for any sport.
And I agree because we still got Aaron Rodgers 3 weeks into the season. So anyway, what's the next question?
Who's doing better than we thought?
Seattle. I thought they'd tank.
See, the crazy thing is I said they were going to be better than what.
Seattle doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, not.
Seattle doesn't surprise me as much. They're always like.
I'm kind of surprised also by New Orleans. I'm not surprised by the Cowboys because they are who they are.
See, now the only thing about New Orleans, they just kind of got humbled. I think
they
that
got
was
humbled.
I think that was the comeback to earth game.
I think that was I'm better. I'm not as good as I think I am.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Minnesota.
They are surprising
because I thought they would be the 4th team in the division, and through 3 weeks, shut up. I know we're at the bottom of the barrel. I don't need anybody else to say it. I'll admit it.
And there you will stay. But
see, I had already said to shut up before it started, so I didn't even hear that. But anyway.
Who's doing worse than we thought?
The Ravens. Thought they'd be doing a little better. Cincinnati. They always have these notoriously slow starts, but gee whiz.
The Bears.
Well, I ain't even gonna touch that because that's the least.
Thank you. Thank you for not taking the low hanging fruit for a change.
Well, I really thought that the Panthers would be doing a little better than they are right now, though.
Hold on, because they got the red rifle in there, and he actually looked like. You know the crazy thing? I feel like they put him in just to make sure, like Bryce Young is really this bad. Like he's really that bad. Wow. What changed between week 2 and week 3 other than the quarterback? They came out and got a win. You think they had a win with Bryce Young? He's really going to be working at Costco next year. It sucks, man.
You know, I saw a sidebar about some guy taking his girlfriend. Did you see that?
I did. It was like he's having a rough week.
Bryce?
Yeah. And parading him right in front of him, too.
Oh, man.
And I was like, what is...
It's sad. Did you see what he did after that game? After they got the win, Bryce stayed out on the field and just gave all of the players high fives as they ran to the locker room. He's like a moral support character at this point.
You know, and we were talking about DJ Moore looking like he was about to cry last week. Out of everybody, man, Bryce Young was actually crying. He was actually crying. It looked like he was actually crying.
He gonna cry when he get to the car.
And last one, way too early, week 3 Super Bowl picks.
Ooh.
Way too early?
Way too early, week 3 Super Bowl picks. I got Bills versus Lions.
Bills ain't gonna beat Kansas City, and Lions ain't going to no damn Super Bowl.
Kansas City don't scare me.
They really don't. I'll be more afraid of the Ravens than the Chiefs.
Do y'all know how crazy y'all be sounding?
I do, but I'm saying I would.
The 2-time Super Bowl champion.
They didn't.
Don't scare you, but the team that can't seem to beat them is the team that scares you. That's like.
It's not.
Bro, do you understand what that's like? That's like walking up on a gorilla, on a silverback gorilla, and being like, oh, that gorilla doesn't scare me, but then walking by a spider on the ground and, ah!
I mean, but they got a lot of stuff going on this season, too, between injuries and
Bills.
then Patrick Mahomes just don't look as hot.
Seahawks.
Huh?
You heard me. That's way too early. That's what this is about. We're way too early.
Yeah, way too early, but still realistic. Where did you come from with that? Hey, that's like your San Antonio basketball pick from last season. We get it. It's all good. I understand.
You said way too early, so I don't expect us to evolve into that.
Yeah, but
I would think the Bills might remain on top.
But where's the logic behind it? Like, Seattle played good for 1 week, and he like, they going to the Super Bowl. That's like saying, hey, man, I think Justin can win one. I don't know.
But that defense,
That defense is nice, but you got to look at who they've been playing against, too. I don't know.
AFC is just kind of weak overall to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
which is so weird. It's so like I'm trying to let just like the first quarter of the season so teams can start settling in and playing like we know they can. Because outside of like a Miami, I don't see an AFC team that shouldn't be hitting that stride that they hit last year. Like, I'm not surprised what the Steelers are doing because they went to the playoffs last year without a quarterback. So they were changing every week, like essentially between Mason Rudolph and Mitch Trubisky. So whatever. I'm not shocked about Cincinnati right now because they always start slow.
I'm a little shocked about the Patriots though. They look better than I thought they would.
They do look a little bit better than I thought they did. As far as my Super Bowl picks, my way too early Super Bowl picks, well, I'm gonna take the low hanging fruit and be smart and say Kansas City from the AFC. And the NFC honestly is a coin toss, man.
NFC's wide open too.
I think really it's whatever team could get hot and start to gel at the right moment. And I will say I don't see it for the Lions, but if you can manage to get lucky and sneak your way into that game, I think that'll be the reason. Because I don't think it'll be that the Lions are so good. I think the rest of the NFC is just going to be so bad that a team just has to be there at the end. So, I mean, because the teams that we kind of looked at that were like the marquee teams that would be able to compete are struggling right now. Like the juggernauts of the NFC that we kind of considered coming into the season. San Francisco is struggling. Philly kind of looks like a fraud. Dallas looks like a fraud.
Atlanta.
See,
interesting.
I didn't consider Atlanta a juggernaut. I kind of know who Kirk Cousins is. I've seen him play quite a bit of football. Real quick, if you want to get the picks in for this upcoming week, before we get out of here, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment.
Wait, so you did all that yapping just to say the Lions and KC?
No, that's not.
Okay, you didn't give me an answer then. You did all this beating around the bush.
I didn't because I don't really.
The premise was way too early.
Just give me a team.
Yeah,
you did this last week when I asked the question.
I know. Well, my mind go a mile a minute, and that's why sometimes I'll be having to come back to stuff. But I end the podcast with who I think my NFC pick is. Let's just get through these picks.
Week four picks. Cowboys at Giants.
Cowboys.
I'm gonna go Giants. I'm not liking the Cowboys right now. And the Giants it was a hell of a week for you to leave Malik Neighbors on the bench in fantasy.
Bro, I almost cried just now. Because I had, bro, we'll talk about it after. Because I'll get in this whole tangent. Bengals at the Panthers.
Bengals.
Ugh. I don't like that game. I'm gonna go Panthers.
Okay, Saints at Falcons.
I think the Saints bounce back this game.
I'm going Falcons this time.
Jags at Texans.
Texans.
I'm gonna go Texans too. Texans bounce back. Jags look abysmal, man.
Terrible. And I just need Trevor Lawrence to give it to ETN and let him run for my fantasy as well. But anyways, Broncos at Jets.
I'm gonna go Jets.
Vikings at the Packers.
That's an interesting one. But I'm going Vikings.
Who playing at home?
Packers at home.
I'm going Green Bay.
As long as it ain't, because weather won't be a factor, so I'm going to say Vikings.
That makes my skin crawl picking Green Bay every week. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you have been picking them, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they've been coming through.
They've been coming through, right? Yeah. Steelers at Colts.
Steelers.
I'm going to go Steelers. I can't, man, that's inconceivable to me that the Steelers would be 4-0. That's crazy.
Rams at Bears.
I'm gonna go Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to Rams too. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I'm boy. Now, if we don't win this game, I'm gonna be pounding that panic button.
Eagles at Bucks.
Eagles.
I'm gonna go Tampa.
Patriot at the 49ers.
Niners.
Oh yeah, I gotta go 49ers.
Yeah, I can't go that twice in a row. Can't see that happening.
Commanders at Cardinals.
Cardinals.
That's another one of those nasty games.
I'm considering how disgusting the Commanders' defense is, and then you got Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
I thought he was hurt.
I think he ended the game last week.
No, but he's questionable in my fantasy lineup.
I didn't see that. I didn't hear anything.
Let me double check before I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna go Arizona.
Chiefs versus the Chargers.
Chiefs.
Browns at Raiders.
I'm gonna go Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders. I have to go because Cleveland looks abysmal.
Bills at Ravens.
I'm gonna go Bills. Give me
Bills at Ravens. I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens are at home.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, I'm gonna still ride with Buffalo.
Titans at Dolphins.
Yeah, Titans.
I'm gonna go. Is Miami at home?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Miami. Will Levis is.
It's Will Levis.
The mayonnaise man himself. And then Monday Night Football, the Seahawks versus the Lions.
I'm going Detroit. Because they're at Detroit. I think Aiton's going to tame Geno a little bit.
We'll see how they scheme. I'm going to go Seattle in this game.
I only agreed on 1, 2.
For some odd reason, every season Seattle seems to be on kryptonite. I don't know why y'all can't get over that hump. It's like one of those games that it's almost like psychological at this point.
Yeah,
like,
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's coaching myself personally.
I think everything is coaching. But then again, I've been saying that all of the last year, but nobody agrees with me. Damn, man, I'm still trying to think of an NFC team because like I liked Philly coming into the season and they're a little slow. I don't know for what reason the offensive coordinator don't like to run Saquon Barkley and y'all just paid him all this money, but I don't know, man. Give me Chicago. Screw it.
He said early in the season, so we're still hallucinating. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm Jack.
My thoughts immediately.
It's MT. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, help us in the algorithm. Make sure you check out my other show, No Direction, all that good stuff. Shout out to all the people that make this happen. And bear down. We out of here.